Ever wondered where a pizza actually begins? Well, it starts much earlier than you think. First stop, wheat. But how does this golden field eventually become part of a pizza? But before flour ever reaches a pizza kitchen, these grains have another transformation waiting for them. And once the grain is collected, the journey from field to food can finally begin. And there's our first big transformation, tiny grains becoming the flour that helps build the dough. But flour is only the beginning, because every good pizza needs something a little more colorful.
And then there are the little layers that add a whole lot of flavor, like onions. And these bright little ingredients, they haven't even seen the pizza yet.
Now the ingredients are ready, but their real journey is only just beginning.
But wait, there's one more ingredient we can't forget. What would pizza be without cheese?
After traveling all this way, the ingredients have finally reached the place where the pizza journey gets serious.
The wheat doesn't stop here. It disappears into a system built to move thousands of kilos without slowing down.
And these tomatoes? They arrive cold, fresh, and ready for their next transformation.
Everything has arrived, but now comes the interesting part, turning all of these separate ingredients into one pizza. Meanwhile, the fresh ingredients are getting their own makeover, and these tomatoes are up first. Those fresh tomatoes are changing fast, but this is only the beginning of their pizza transformation. And now for the part most pizza lovers would happily watch all day. The cheese.
The main ingredient gets closer to the action, because dough time is coming.
Everything is finally in place, so are you ready to see how the pizza dough is actually made? Getting the ingredients here was only half the job. Now every little measurement has to be just right. And now the real transformation begins. Can you guess how long it takes to turn this mess into perfect pizza dough?
At first it looks like a sticky mess, but give it a little time, and things start getting interesting.
The more it gets worked, the smoother it becomes, almost like the dough is learning what it's supposed to be.
So how do you know the dough is ready? Give it a little push and watch what it does. Now we've got one giant piece of dough, but pizza isn't made from one giant piece.
One dough ball would make one very lonely pizza, so the machine splits it into perfectly sized pieces.
But here's the funny part. Sometimes the best thing you can do to dough is absolutely nothing. While it rests, the dough is quietly changing, getting softer, lighter, and ready for the next big step. And there it is, our first real glimpse of the pizza hiding inside that little dough ball.
Now we're stretching it out, but notice the edge. That little rim is about to become very important.
The dough is ready, but a pizza without sauce is just waiting for its personality. Here's where the blank canvas gets its first real splash of flavor. The trick is simple. Cover the middle, but leave the edge alone. That rim still has a job to do.
One even layer, no wasted space, because the next ingredient is about to cover almost all of it.
And now comes the moment pizza fans have been waiting for. Bring on the cheese.
Now we've got sauce, we've got cheese, but we're still missing the toppings that make each pizza different. The base is ready, and now the fun part begins. So, what goes on top?
Round, red, and ready to cook. Yep, we're officially getting somewhere now. Now we're adding a little crunch, because apparently cheese can't do all the work. And just when you thought we were done, there's still room for more. Okay, now the HAT looks like a pizza, but there's one place it still needs to go. One last little touch, and now this pizza is officially ready for the heat. Same dough, same sauce, but suddenly we've got several very different pizzas.
Everything we've done so far comes down to this moment. What do you think happens when the heat hits?
One quick look, because once this goes in, there's no turning back.
Look at it now. because in just a few seconds, it won't look like this anymore.
And now, the heat takes over. This is where our pizza really comes to life.
The first thing to change, that cheese. And it's happening faster than you might think.
Now things are getting serious, the cheese is melting, the sauce is bubbling, and the crust is waking up. And look at that edge, the soft dough is finally turning into the crust we recognize.
This is the part you normally miss. All those little ingredients are changing at the same time.
We're almost there, but wait until you see what comes out the other side.
And there it is, the moment all that heat finally pays off.
The pizza survived the oven, but now comes the moment that changes one pizza into many.
One cut, then another, and suddenly that perfect circle has a whole new shape.
Every slice needs to be easy to grab, because nobody wants a pizza battle at dinner. The hard part is over. Now the pizza just needs a moment to calm down.
Even pizza needs a little breathing room, especially after going through all that heat.
From flour and fresh ingredients to this, but where does the finished pizza go next? Now the machines take over, but how do they know exactly where every pizza needs to go? Tiny sensors are watching the line, because even a pizza needs to know where it's going. One little turn, and suddenly the pizza has its own route.
No dramatic pause, just one smooth handoff after another.
And suddenly you can see it. This isn't just one pizza being made. It's an entire system moving together.
The machines have done their part. Now let's see what happens to the pizza right before it leaves the factory. One careful move, because after all that work, nobody wants to mess up the final result.
It looks simple, but keeping every slice looking this good takes a pretty clever system.
From a field of wheat and tomatoes to this. But we're still not at the end of the journey.
One pizza, one lane, and now it's getting very close to the finish line. We've followed every step, and now there's only one more question. Where does it go?
One last transfer, and this pizza is almost ready for its next adventure.
After all that work, this little pizza is finally ready to leave the factory.
We've watched it become a pizza. Now let's see how it begins the journey to the person waiting for it. The factory journey is almost over, but for this pizza, the real journey is just beginning.
A few seconds ago, it was on a conveyor. Now it's ready to travel.
And now comes the fastest part of the whole story, getting it where it needs to go. Everything is packed safely, because the pizza still has one more trip to survive. From raw ingredients to a moving delivery van, but who knows where this pizza is heading? From a giant production line to one small doorstep. And after that entire journey, this is the moment we've been waiting for. So the next time you take a bite, remember, you're tasting a journey that started long before the pizza ever reached the box. From the field to the factory to your table. That's the journey behind a Domino's pizza.